Good evening, folks. Welcome to In the Air Tonight. In the Air Tonight, we will have some From Beyond. A small batch from Cornell and Deal. Happy Halloween. This mask isn't really working as well as I intended. I guess my face isn't big enough to make the jaw go every time I talk. But anyway, 'tis the season, and I figured I'd throw on something festive for you. All right, so Cornell and Deal From Beyond. Really cool series. I think it was initially released for the Chicago Pipe Club, or Pipe Show, sorry, in 2019. Cool blend. From what I remember, pretty good. A little rough around the edges for my taste, but we're getting into the colder months. I picked up a few tins of this stuff. I've also got the Haunting, which I'd like to try on the day of Halloween, but that's tomorrow. And today I'm going to get into this. So opened it up. Before I get into the notes, let's just read the tin. The unseen world is fraught with danger. To ignore it seems foolhardy, yet to behold it would invite madness. This decadent blend of heirloom Latakia, matured Virginias, aged Orientals, and pure St. James Perique will open your mind to infinite possibilities. Will you return a blind eye, or will you embrace the beyond? Ooh, spooky. So we've got premium Turkish Latakia, heirloom Cyprian Latakia from 2004, Eastern North Carolina Red Virginia from 2017, Bright Canadian Virginia 2022, and Thai Izmir from 2019, and Greek Basma from 2022. So kind of Balkany, I guess. Let's give it a whiff. This is what it looks like. You've got some nice ribbon cut in here. Some larger flakes of Latakia. Definitely a smoky blend. On the nose, it smells a lot like Lapsang Souchong tea, which is a smoked black tea that I'm quite fond of. And it's gonna be smoky. It's gonna be smoky. Kind of has a little bit of mesquite on the nose. A little bit of sweetness. You could smell those Virginias. And you could smell that funk from the St. James Perique. And I'm sure we're going to be tasting all of that here. So let me get this lit, and I'll return with some initial thoughts of this From Beyond. All right, aside from being very uncomfortable to smoke in a plastic mask, this blend is really good. Right off the bat, I get a lot of creamy Latakia. Get all cream. I remember this being a little bit rougher around the edges when I first tried it. But so far, I get Aleppo pepper, cream, that smoky Latakia. Surprising amount of citrus out of those Virginias. Yeah, that's got to be those bright Canadian Virginias from 2022. Nice little supporting role in the background there. Definitely that Izmir is what gives me that Aleppo pepper taste. Very fragrant, very flavorful. A little floral. Not too sweet. Mm. My jaw is sore from trying to work that mask thing. Pleasant first little bit here after the light. Let me check back in with you as we get into the middle of this bowl. So, moving into this bowl, I am starting to get a little bit of breadiness, or a fair amount of breadiness halfway through, which I suppose is that Eastern North Carolina Red Virginia 2017 that we're all pretty familiar with. It's in a lot of Cornell and Deal's small batch blends. And it's quite good. This blend is giving me a little bit of Balkan Sobrini with a little bit of Dunhill Nightcap vibes. But it's its own thing. I like it a lot. It's nice. I think it's better than... I don't think I had it last year. Oh, goodness. I think the last time I had this was 2019. I either am enjoying this version more than I did back then, or I'm just not remembering it correctly. But it's very good. That Izmir is just so fun. I miss that stuff. And then there's Sunset Harbor Flake. Forgive me if I'm saying its name the wrong way, but that's got a lot of Izmir in it. Cornell and Deal also does that. And I really enjoy that blend. I actually smoke that blend a lot in the summertime. I wouldn't consider it an all-day smoke at all. It's more of a nightcap. I'd probably pair this with wine. Maybe not like a heavier like Cab or Merlot, but I might pair this with like a Barolo, something Sangiovese, grape, Old World wine, ruby red, cherry, dry, and tart would be the flavor profiles that I'd be looking for if I was going to pair this with something. But this would also really just go well with a Guinness. A little Guinner for dinner. Because of that creaminess, I think would really complement it. And the lightness of a Guinness. You know, people think of a Guinness as a heavy beer. It's not at all. It's a very light beer. But it's creamy and a little bit bitter. And that would go good with this smoke. It is a fun tobacco to pair things with. I would certainly do that. Philosophy of use. Goodness. You know, it's got Cthulhu on here, Lord Cthulhu. So I suppose if you were trying to summon Cthulhu, it'd be a good blend for that. But let's just pretend for a moment that this isn't Halloween themed. I'd say sitting back and trying your best to work through the Harvard classics, like I've got right here. I'm on book 1, which is Ben Franklin's autobiography. This is a good reading smoke. Whether you're in some mystic library reading tomes about summoning creatures from alternate dimensions, or just reading Benjamin Franklin's autobiography, this is a smoke that I feel like can make your mind wander and also just give you enough of that nicotine to make for a really good nightcap with a nice book while listening to some dark academia music. Maybe there's like a rainstorm going on, some thunder where the lightning is just flashing through the window of your study and casting weird shadows across your taxidermy animals that are above your bookshelves that have little ladders that slide back and forth on them. You know, like you've got like a bobcat up there. You know. No, but this is a good sitting in your study, reading blend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would I recommend this to somebody who is not the biggest English blend smoker? Probably not, gonna be honest. It's just got so much Orientals in it. I wouldn't call it like a lat bomb, but it isn't really smooth. It's got some rough edges to it, and it can be a little bit bitey. It's not like the most well-rounded blend ever, which isn't a bad thing. Everybody talks about that as if that's like a a poor trait of a blend, or it wasn't, you know, blended with care if it's got some sharp edges to it. But I mean, I'm a Kentucky bourbon guy. Nobody's ever described that as smooth. That's got rough edges to it, and some of the best bourbons out there are not the smoothest. One of my favorites to just pick up from the local liquor store is a Elijah Craig. That's not a smooth bourbon at all. And if it was, it wouldn't be so well regarded. Because I don't see that as a good quality to a bourbon. Maybe like a Canadian whiskey or a Scotch. But this is very deep, brooding character with a inconsistency in the sense that while I'm talking about the rough edges, I just hit a smooth spot where it's all cream again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it would be a good reading blend. Keeps you awake, keeps you on your toes a little bit. Good. All good things to say about it. Really no complaints. I'm glad that I got a few tins of it and would be happy to get a few more. This is something that I'd like to put some age on and just kind of see if it mellows out a little bit. But also something that I would smoke right now. I haven't done any retrohaling. Wow, on the retrohale I get all leather. No sweetness at all, surprisingly. But then again, maybe if I retrohaled this to the beginning of the pipe or at a different time, I'd get, you know, something different. This blend is not super consistent. I think if you like creamy Latakia, if you like some spice from Izmir, and if you enjoy a nice bready, citrusy background with some floral notes, you're going to get that here. You're also going to get a lot of leather when this all comes together. And there are going to be portions of the bowl that are going to be spicy, that are just going to jump out at you. They're very ephemeral. It's like there and then it's not. That's how I would describe this. If it sounds like I'm all over the place here, it's because that's the best way to describe this blend in a way, is it's got a lot of different portions to it that are different as you're working your way through the bowl. A lot of character to it, kind of like a nice bourbon whiskey or a rye. It's going to, you're going to take a sip of it, and it's going to have like 3 different flavor profiles in that sip, that instead of our horizontal, it's like vertical, where you go from one to the other to the other. It's tiered, if that makes sense. Quite interesting, and yes, it's definitely a smoker. This pipe, I can't believe I didn't mention what pipe this was until the end here, because it's so Halloween. This is a 4th generation pipe, and look at that bright orange stem with the black bowl. Very cool. Couldn't have had a better pipe to smoke this out of. It's kind of one of those pipes where the top part of the bowl is a little bit narrow, but it widens out enough in there that once you get into the middle of this, it's a great English blend pipe. But you could go both ways with this. You could smoke Virginias out of it. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me this long. This has been In the Air Tonight from Beyond. I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Boop.